Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive into Lynne Twist's The Soul of Money with me? It really gets you thinking differently about, well, everything, really wealth, value, what money even is.
It's amazing how Twist approaches this. She's not just some finance guru telling you how to invest. She's worked for years with the Hunger Project, actually out there raising millions to fight hunger globally. That experience, it really colors her view of money.
Yeah, right away Twist says we can transform our lives by transforming how we relate to money. But then she takes it further, asking these big questions like, does money even have a soul? Can we ever escape that feeling of never having enough? I mean, can we?
It's not your typical money book, that's for sure. The Soul of Money is more about examining like our values, our sense of community, how we find fulfillment,
Hmm.
and money's role in all that.
For sure. And she starts by taking us to this remote Amazonian village, the Akwar people. They're encountering money for the first time ever. Their experience, I think, reveals something really fundamental about what money is. What struck you about that story?
Well, the Akwar, they lived for centuries without money, right? They had this system of reciprocity, relationships within their community. So their story shows how money is basically a human invention, not some like natural force. But the interesting thing is, as they start using money, it rapidly becomes this controlling force in their lives.
Makes you think, how much of that feeling, being controlled by money, is just part of us versus something our culture teaches us?
Exactly. And that's when Twist drops this bomb. She says scarcity is a lie. She breaks it down into three myths she thinks trap us. There's not enough, more is better, and that classic, that's just the way it is.
Those myths are everywhere.
Mm.
Like they constantly fuel that competition anxiety, that feeling we never have enough, no matter how much we get. So how do we break free?
Twist's antidote is this concept of sufficiency. Now, she makes it clear sufficiency isn't deprivation. It's about recognizing the abundance we already have, using our resources wisely.
She tells that story about Gertrude from Harlem. Despite a very modest income, she donates $50 with this incredible joy, integrity.
Beautiful example, isn't it? Gertrude's generosity, no strings attached, shows the abundance that exists even in what looks limited from the outside.
Reminded me of the Akwar, their lifestyle. It just embodies sufficiency so naturally.
Absolutely. And sufficiency isn't just stuff, right? It's appreciating the richness of relationships, talents, opportunities around us. Twist even says that focusing on what we appreciate makes it grow.
Now that's where things got really interesting. She talks about Bangladesh, where villagers went from aid-dependent to self-reliant just by recognizing their strengths, their existing resources.
That's appreciative inquiry in action. Instead of problems, you focus on the good potential that's already there, then use that to make lasting change. They literally built on what was working instead of always trying to fix what wasn't.
So appreciative inquiry, how do we do that in our own lives? What small things can we appreciate today to start shifting things?
Could be simple as taking a minute each day to be grateful for our health, loved ones, even a sunset. By shifting to appreciation, we cultivate abundance, and that ripples out to everything.
That's powerful. And Twist also says that we all have unique assets, and it's through collaborating that we create wholeness, sufficiency for everyone. So different from that every man for himself idea.
For sure, it shifts us away from that gotta get mine mentality that the scarcity myth pushes. We start seeing how working together brings prosperity for everyone.
Like her story of Tracy. After a tough divorce, she builds support, self-reliance through a collaborative relationship with a family in Japan. It shows how even in hard times, we find abundance through sharing, mutual support.
That one really hit home. It reminds us true prosperity isn't hoarding stuff, it's recognizing we all have something to offer. Twist even points out how recent science is challenging Darwin's focus on competition. Like nature itself is saying collaboration, mutuality are just as vital.
So it's not just a nice philosophy, it's science-backed. Nature showing us that collaboration is key.
Exactly. And this brings us to a crucial point. Changing that dominant dream our society has, the one based on endless getting and competing.
And this is where Twist's work with the Akwar gets central. They're trying to preserve their culture, environment, in the face of modernization, which often brings those same destructive values.
The Akwar, they deeply believe dreams guide action, and they're calling for us to create a sustainable future based on that, on sufficiency, collaboration. They're living proof it's possible.
Makes you think, what kind of dream are WE building for ourselves, for future generations? The one based on scarcity or the one on sufficiency and collaboration?
Powerful question, and it matters. If we buy into the scarcity myth, we just keep perpetuating it, always striving, feeling insecure, competing. But if we embrace sufficiency, collaboration, that opens up a whole new way of being in the world.
A world that's more fulfilling, equitable, and in the end, more sustainable.
And like we saw with Gertrude, the Bangladeshi villagers, Tracy, even small shifts in mindset create ripple effects.
So how do we make those shifts? How do we go from the soul of money as an idea to actually living it? Twist doesn't just give us concepts, she gives strategies for transforming our relationship with money. And that's what we'll explore in part 2 of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the soul of money. In part 1, we got into some pretty deep stuff, the myths of scarcity, the power of sufficiency, and collaboration. Now let's see how we can actually put these ideas into practice.
Yeah, part 1, my mind was blown. But now let's get practical. What are some tools Twist gives us to actually make that shift?
One key strategy is conscious conversation. Twist believes how we talk about money with ourselves and others really affects our experience.
Interesting. How does changing how we talk about money actually change things?
Well, she talks about her experience during the '87 stock market crash. Black Monday, right. Everyone around her was panicking, financial losses. But she and her husband decided to focus on gratitude, their core values.
So must have been tough, with everyone else freaking out.
Yeah. It was. But by intentionally shifting the conversation away from scarcity, from fear, they went through that crisis with a sense of peace. It reminds us we always have the power to choose the story we tell about our experiences, and that affects us big time.
So it's about taking back that power, not getting swept up in the negativity, especially with money. But what about those deep beliefs about money we've had for years? Twist calls them life sentences. How do we deal with those?
We have to confront them head on, become aware of what messages we've gotten about money from family, culture, even media. Once we see them, we can start questioning them.
I know I have some. Growing up, it was money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. That stuff definitely shaped how I saw money early on. So how do we actually rewrite those scripts?
First, recognize them, then consciously choose more empowering beliefs. Instead of money is scarce, try abundance flows into my life. Or instead of I'll never be wealthy, maybe I'm attracting financial prosperity. The language we use, it subtly shapes our reality.
Whoa, that's trippy. It's like retraining our minds to see money differently. But it's not just affirmations, right? Twist talks about aligning actions with values, too.
Right on. It's walking the talk. Twist tells this powerful story about witnessing the courage of women in a remote Indian village. They were determined to end female infanticide. Speaking out, challenging that deep-rooted norm, it changed their community.
Wow, incredible. Speaking your truth, taking action, even against huge challenges, can create such change. How does that connect to money, though?
Twist says our financial choices reflect our values. Every time we spend, we're saying what we believe in, what we support. So to create a world based on sufficiency, collaboration, we need to align our spending with that.
So it's not just how MUCH money we have, it's how we use it. We all have that power to make a difference, regardless of income.
Absolutely. We have choices. We can support ethical, sustainable businesses, donate to causes we really believe in, invest in communities, projects that help everyone. Money becomes a tool to make a better world.
Like Twist's philanthropy reimagined. Not just rich donors writing checks, but recognizing we all contribute, even in small, everyday generosity.
Yes. It's moving away from charity, which often creates separation. We go towards solidarity, recognizing we're connected, working together as equals so everyone can thrive.
This is awesome, but it could also feel overwhelming, changing your whole relationship with money. Where do we even begin?
Twist says it's a process, a journey. No one size fits all. But she offers practical steps to start making shifts.
Okay, hit me with step 1. What is it?
Awareness. Become more aware of your current relationship with money. Twist suggests a money journal, tracks spending, thoughts, feelings about money. It reveals those hidden patterns where you might be using a scarcity mindset without realizing it.
Like holding a mirror up to your habits and beliefs about money. I dig it. What's next?
Once you understand your relationship with money, set intentions for how you want to use it. Ask yourself, what are my values? What kind of world do I want to create? Those questions become your guides for financial decisions.
Going from unconscious spending to conscious spending, huh? Making choices that reflect what you truly care about.
Exactly. And as you shift, celebrate your progress. Acknowledge those positive impacts no matter how small.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught in never enough, forgetting to appreciate how far we've come. But Twist reminds us, even little acts of generosity, conscious spending, have a ripple effect.
For sure. And as we cultivate sufficiency, abundance, we become more open to sharing, collaborating. We see there Truly IS enough for everyone, and working together is how we create true prosperity.
This is inspiring stuff, but what about the practicalities? Bills, debt, financial obligations. How does sufficiency fit into that? Do we just ignore it all and hope for the best?
Twist addresses that head on. Sufficiency isn't denying reality or pretending money doesn't matter. It's about shifting your perspective, finding balance.
So how do we find that balance between living intentionally, A and D, managing our finances? All right, back for the final part of our deep dive into the soul of money. In parts 1 and 2, we really got into those core principles, right? From those pesky scarcity myths to the power of sufficiency and collaboration. Now, how do we bring these ideas into our everyday money life?
Twist gives us this roadmap for what she calls money consciousness, and it starts with something she calls tracking the flow.
Tracking the flow. Sounds kind of mystical. Is that like just a fancy way of saying budgeting?
It's more than budgeting, although that's definitely part of it. Tracking the flow is becoming truly aware of where your money comes from and where it goes. Understanding your income sources, expenses, and the choices you're making with your money.
So it's like illuminating those hidden patterns, habits that drive our relationship with money.
Yeah, you got it. And once you have that awareness, you can start making more conscious choices, right? Twist suggests asking yourself, where is my money flowing? Is this flow aligned with my values? Is it nourishing my life and the lives of others?
Those questions really change how you see money, don't they? It's not this abstract force controlling you anymore. It's something you can actively shape.
Exactly. And as you track the flow, you often start noticing areas where, you're spending on things that don't really line up with your values or bring you real joy. Like maybe it's eating out too much, impulse buys you regret later, or donating to charities out of obligation, not passion.
It's about making sure your spending reflects what's truly important to you, aligning it with your values.
That's the heart of it. And that intentionality can go into every part of your money life, from how you earn it to how you invest it.
Speaking of earning money, Twist has some interesting ideas about work, livelihood. She emphasizes finding work that's meaningful, fulfilling, not just chasing a paycheck.
She believes work should be an expression of your unique gifts, talents, something that contributes positively to the world.
Working with purpose, not just working for the man, right? But what if you're stuck in a job you don't love? Does that mean you're doomed financially?
Not at all. Twist knows that not everyone can just up and quit to follow their passion, but she encourages us to find ways to bring more meaning into our current work, even in small ways.
So even within those limitations, there's room to create purpose. How can people do that?
Well, it could be taking on new challenges, finding ways to be more creative, or just focusing on what you find rewarding in your work. Maybe there are ways to connect more deeply with colleagues or to mentor someone new.
It's about actively creating those moments of joy, fulfillment within your current situation.
Exactly. And as you cultivate purpose in your work, it can impact your whole well-being, including finances. You might find yourself more motivated, productive, even open to new opportunities.
When you're really engaged, passionate about what you do, it doesn't feel like work. It becomes a source of energy, inspiration.
And that energy can then flow into other areas, like how you handle your finances. You approach it with more clarity, more purpose.
So we've covered tracking the flow, aligning work with values, and making conscious spending choices. What about the bigger picture, though? Financial planning. How does sufficiency fit in there?
Twist encourages a shift from financial scarcity to financial sufficiency, recognizing we already have enough to create a secure, fulfilling life without constantly chasing more.
Enough seems kind of subjective, though. How do we define it in a way that makes sense for us?
You're right, each person's enough is different. It's not denying basic needs or living in deprivation. It's finding that balance between what you truly need, your values, and your money situation.
So it's about creating a lifestyle that feels abundant, but also sustainable, without getting trapped and wanting more and more.
Exactly. And this might mean making conscious choices about spending habits, where you live, even how you think about possessions.
It's about defining your success, your fulfillment, not letting society tell you what that is.
And as we embrace sufficiency, we might find we need less than we thought. True wealth is often experiences, relationships, contributing to something bigger than ourselves.
I really feel that. But I'm still thinking about the practical stuff. Like, what about retirement savings, investing, paying off debt? Where does that fit into money consciousness and sufficiency?
Twist knows financial planning and responsibility are important. She's not saying ignore it all or be reckless, but she wants us to approach it from empowerment, not fear.
So not obsessing over every penny or feeling behind,
Hmm.
but planning with intention, confidence.
Exactly. Creating a financial plan that supports your values, your vision for the future, without falling into that scarcity trap. Making choices that align with your sense of enough, letting you live authentically.
Seems like it all comes back to Twist's core message. Money itself isn't good or bad, right? It's a tool. We decide how to use it.
And by cultivating money consciousness based on sufficiency, collaboration, and understanding our values, we can totally transform our relationship with money. And in doing so, transform our lives and help create a more just, fulfilling, and abundant world.
The soul of money is a powerful call to action. It's about reclaiming our power, using money to create a better world for ourselves and future generations.
So, as you go on your own financial journey, remember, track the flow, find alignment, embrace sufficiency, and use your money as a force for good. The world needs your unique gifts and your conscious choices.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the soul of money. We hope you're leaving feeling inspired with a renewed sense of what's possible. Until next time.